Hey everyone, how we doing? I'm trying to figure out my new tripod. There we go. Awesome. All right, this is looking good. This is looking sweet. Do I want to turn these little like tube lights on? Hey guys, how's it going? Mike here. We are live. Awesome. Live viewer comments to show up on YouTube. This is an example. Click on a comment to show it on screen. Thank you, StreamYard. How's it going, everybody? We are going well. So, hey guys, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about today is basically why your marketing business, why your marketing agency is it's probably in the best position of any business in the world right now. I'll talk about why that is specifically. First of all, if you are joining live, Logitech, if you could do me a favor and just focus, thank you. If you could do me a favor and say hello in the comments, that'll really help me out because it lets me know that one, people can hear me, people can see me okay. This is a totally free, opt-in free training. We're not putting this behind a wall or anything. This will go up as well live as soon as it's ready, as soon as it's kind of processed. And if you're watching the replay, type replay in. I couldn't think of a smart enough sentence to say. We're basically looking today at why your business is in a fantastic state. There's a lot to be said in the best place possible. There's a lot to be said about agencies and their role in like the market today, especially anyone in kind of marketing, design, sales. Hey guys, awesome! So glad that you're able to join me on YouTube. Love your t-shirt. Oh, thank you very much. Well, we've got a few printed up, so we're gonna have a play around with them. Maybe we'll have a look. Hey Jack, how's it going, brother? The icon is a bit too far over in the corner though, so I need to move that. So yeah, this is basically a look at how to really take advantage of what your agency is already offering and scaling it massively. That's not necessarily just through spending, 30 grand a day on ads. That's certainly a part of it. But this is going to be the longer term strategy that a lot of your businesses and agencies should and are going to be using in the future. If you're watching this live, do me a little favor and hit the share button. Just post it on YouTube, or post it on Facebook, or post it on Twitter. Just so we can get a few more people. Like I said, no opt-in. And also, if you're in the Facebook group, hello. I think you've got to click a little button so I can see your comments. But share it as well, or just let people know, because this is going to be some. It's easy for me to say some incredible free training, but this really is going to be some killer training that a lot of people really should be watching and understand, because this is how businesses are going to run in the future, and this is how agencies are going to run going forward. This is how we set up two of our agencies, one of which I sold and one of which is doing fine now, doing really well now. The reason I'm giving this away like totally for free is because obviously I go into depth on each one of the kind of areas that I'm talking about, go into massive levels of detail around with a lot of our paid stuff, but I don't really want to charge for this because I think it's so fundamental to understand how your business is going to work and how your agency could work. I'm not going to ask you to change tactics or change tools. I'm not going to say you need to start selling chatbots. Remember chatbots? They were really big for a time, weren't they? I'm not going to tell you to start, only focusing on Facebook ads. I'm not going to tell you that you should only be doing landing pages. I'm going to show you how to take what you're currently working on, currently building, and turning that into a really scalable model. We're going to look at everything from high ticket products. Personally, I'm not, I don't think high ticket is the be all and end all. It's certainly important to have a 5 or maybe even a 6-figure product. But we're also going to look at the smaller stuff as well and maybe give you guys a bit of time back. Hey guys, thank you so much for commenting. Really glad that you're with me here. Let me move this over here. You see we did a little, come on Logitech, there we go. Sweet. All right, actually, I wonder if we can, sorry guys, looks like Logitech is going a bit nuts on me here. 500 quid on a webcam and you kind of expect it to work. This is a Logitech Brio. I do love it, by the way. I love my Logitech Brio. Let me make sure that the autofocus feature is turned off, because I actually don't want it on, because I'm only going to be standing here, and it should be off. There we go. Can I get a wider field of view? There we go. That's cool. Beaut. All right, awesome. Okay, so what we're going to draw is on the left-hand side, we're going to draw what your current business looks like. And in some respects, this should simplify perhaps what it is that you're doing. I want you to take all of your agency knowledge, all of your products, all of the services that you've done, all the things you've done in the past. I don't want you to think too hard about it. And hopefully this might even clear up what it is that you guys are doing. Down the bottom, your customers have got 3 core problems. And you've seen this model before from me. I've talked about this before. They've got 3 things that are really the crux of what it is they're trying to fix. Now, those 3 problems are probably pretty universal across all businesses. We go into huge like investment banks, we talk to small micro businesses, we talk to individual entrepreneurs, we talk to mid-level businesses, small businesses, enterprise businesses, and they all say we want more leads, we want more time, we want more freedom, we want more leads, we want more sales, we want to grow, we want to expand, we want more confidence, we want more strategy, we want to keep up with our competitors. The top sort of 50 problems that everyone that a business has, everybody has. But your customers should have 3 kind of specific problems, or more to the effect, you should have 3 problems that you're really good at solving. For example, one of the hyper specific things that I'm quite good at is pricing a marketing funnel. I'm really good at making sure that a marketing funnel project is well priced and is profitable. It's it's an easy thing for me to do. I'm quite good at writing sales letters. So again, hyper specific. So there's going to be 3 problems that you are really good at that are really hyper specific, maybe to your niche. But even if you don't have a niche, I'm going to change this pen. Even if you don't have a niche, they'll be hyper specific to what it is that you can do and what you can bring as an agency. Let's say, for example, that you're good at generating new sales, so like fresh greenfield sales for customers. Let's say that and again, these are problems, right? So they're lacking in sales. Guys, you can't even see that either. All of the gear is falling apart right now. Here we go. New sales. All right. So their problem is a lack of sales. Maybe they've got a lack of confidence or lack of clarity around where they're going. And they've got no leads, or leads are extremely hard work. The problems you want to think about are things that people wake up and get stressed about. They go, oh God, I really wish I could fix this. And at the top, you basically help them get to a better land. I say this is like what they're trying to escape to. This is where they're trying to reach. So these are 3 end results. So this is when they're happy, okay? And maybe you realize that what you want to try and help people do is they basically end up with more time. They end up with more sales. And again, we can make this specific in the future. And automated lead generation. You help them get from down here to up there. Michael says, I've got a 50 quid Logitech and it's brilliant. And the classic thing is, Michael, as I leave my 50 quid Logitech at the office, I bring this one home. This one is sick, to be honest. This one is really good. But it gets a bit funny sometimes. So maybe it's not that good. Anyway, 3 end results, right? And like I said, you can become more specific. If you, by the way, if you're looking at this and thinking, fucking hell, I'm already like way overboard here. Here's what I want you to do. Think about 100, you heard me right, 100 individual problems that your customers have. They never seem to be able to get invoices out on time. They've got a lack of cash flow. They have a real problem getting customers to pay them on time. They don't have any recurring revenue. Just 100 things they wish they could fix. And in there, begin to clump them together and look at the commonalities between them. And eventually you'll come up with 3 core problems that your customers experience every single day. And you also then want to find out, well, what 3 end results do they want? And again, it doesn't need to be specific at this moment, but it will be specific to what you can do and what your audience wants. to help them get from where they are now to where they want to be, or to help them escape from this and reach this, we take them on a process, right? We take them on a journey from A to B or from A to Z, from start to finish. And it might be that they need to do this journey a few times, but essentially, we help them move up this process here. And through that, we're going to have a series of stages and parts of our process. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm a big fan of productization, creating processes, creating systems. And by the way, you can just be drawing this, right? You can see how simple it is. I'm telling you, this is our entire business model. So we, out of all of this, we get content, which basically builds our authority. We get products, which are things that we can sell repeatedly without running out of and without taking up too much time. And then we also have recurring revenue, and we have our services as well. And I'm going to take you through this process. So from A to B, problem to result, start to finish. And you're going to say, well, the first thing that we do, well, the first thing that they need to have, the number one thing they need to have when they start out, is they need to get clear on, well, this could be anything. And this is why you need to start filling this in. You might say, well, the first thing we actually do is we audit them. Okay, and we can come up with sexy names and stuff later, but I want you to write down the first thing that you get them to do, right? The number one thing that you get them to do. This first stage is like a milestone or a step or a specific task that they need to get over. And you might think, well, why do they do an audit? And this is just an example. Okay, why do they do an audit? Well, because they need to understand a bit more about where they are. They need to understand what they've got. We need to collate everything together, and we need to understand all of the different resources. That's a pretty typical. Thank you for. Cheers, Mark. Thanks very much. This is a pretty typical first step across a lot of different businesses, right? And then you have step 2, which could be, in some cases, I don't know, interviews, right? And then you might think, well, step 3 is we need to immediately move on to email. And again, this is just me randomly throwing this down on the table. Okay, you're going to put in whatever steps you want. You're going to want to have between 5 and 7 steps, really. That's the kind of the sweet spot, because this is your individual process here. We've talked in the past about things like USPs, you know, what makes you unique? Why would someone use you more than anyone else? It's this here, right? This process here. So when I wrote 5-figure funnels, I had my 6A process. I knew that the 6 most important things that anyone needed to start with, they needed to have their audience defined. Then they need to write out their niche, which is their niche is their audience. They need to write out their pricing, which is their amount. They need to create assets, authority, attention, and action. So that becomes intellectual property. That's the thing that's unique. That's USP. No other business in the world uses my 6A formula. Okay, because I created it to help people get from start to finish. We used to have funnels as well, which got a bit meta, which is facts, unique, niche, nail the plan, earnings, leverage, and sales. That was like a process we went through. So I want you to write out, and they don't have to have alliteration or anything like that yet. Don't worry about anything of that yet. Like I said, I've got products and services that delve into all of this stuff. So if you ever think, well, I want to learn more about that, just reach out to me and we can figure that out. And you might go, okay, well, next is email. Then we need to do pages. You need to have a specific type of page. Then we start looking at ads, and then we do reporting. And we don't have a 7th step, right? That's pretty much your process that you run through with customers for a particular task. Okay, they start here, they have a bunch of problems, and to get to this end result, you know that that's the process you take them on. And you might get lucky. They might be all A's, or they might be all B's, or they might be A, B, C, D, E, or what's a 6-letter word? Killer might be like K-I-L-L-E-R or K-I-L-L-E-R, something like that. All right. whatever. Don't worry about that too much. Inside each one of these individual milestones or stages, you're going to have a bunch of smaller tasks, right? And some will be longer than others. And some will have loads of stages and loads of little tasks and loads of little steps, and some won't. Don't worry about getting into this too much. At some point when I was running Apex, when I was actually running our agencies using the Apex system and Apex formula, our entire business model and process was basically a sheet with a load of bullet points. And we would just go, right, new customer, copy that, clone it. And every single one of those bullet points was hyperlinked to a worksheet. We would just go through each worksheet with the customer, come back and just check them off. That our entire business was basically one long process. Okay. And that's what we sold. Now, this process is essentially what you are scaling. The adage is that you don't scale businesses, you scale ideas. This here, let me move this over. This here is your idea. This is your big idea. And by the way, if you're watching this and you go, well, I'm not quite an agency, I run a Facebook group, even better, because you're going to have a series of steps that you think everyone should go through. And you could scale this right down as to like how to set up a home studio, and if we were to do that really quickly off the top of my head, it would be audio, camera, lighting, sound, well, we call it acoustic dampening, this stuff here, backdrop. And so maybe just those three. If it's for saving money, okay, down here, I've always got too much month left at the end of my money. I never seem to save anything, and I'm quite bad with managing money. And at the end, I'm better with money. I'm putting away money regularly, and eventually my money makes me money through savings and investments. And the first thing you have to do is basically audit yourself and figure out how much you have coming in, how much you have going out, pay off debts, do the 10% rule, educate yourself on investments, start with a basic ISA, then look to invest in stocks, then look to invest in things like gold and bond. And that's a bad example, but that would be where that's something like that. You have stages that you think people should go through. Maybe if you're helping people, and again, if you want to do this for customers, perfect. Helping people lose weight, first of all, what's your goal? Like what's your target weight loss? I'm stealing, by the way, my colleague Tom Blackman. I haven't got his book in here. Target Lean. It's a killer book, like just outstanding in terms of like weight loss and weight management. So what's your goal? Calorie in, calorie out, the types of food that you like to eat. What does your day look like? And you've got this process that you're writing out. That is your idea. That's your intellectual property. Thanks, Matt. Hopefully getting a few of these made up. Okay. So I want you to come up with that process. And now this is what you start to scale. Because all of this here, individually, this becomes your content. So you'll have individual posts, videos. That's my idea of a blog post. Podcasts, talking about those individual tasks and individual steps. And now you're beginning to build massive levels of authority because lead magnets as well, right? So if you want to produce your PDF reports or your cheat sheets, that's my idea of a cheat sheet. You can tell I did not do graphic design. There we go. Right, so your lead magnets, maybe you take one of those email templates and you put that in there. And you start to give away the stuff that you've already got. You start to take that process and give it away. The whole process, that can also become an epic 10 to 20K blog post. And it can also become your book. Okay. giving a highlighted overview. Further down the scale, the cost is way less, right? It's like, well, it's basically as good as free. And then we'll have slightly more expensive stuff, and then mid-level stuff, and then our high ticket, I say high ticket, our higher price stuff. So your blog posts, you know, they're down here. Your videos, your podcasts, they're down here. Maybe you have like a some webinar training. I should have just drawn a magnet. God damn it, Matt. Da-da. Bzz, bzz. Okay. So hopefully you're beginning to see, oh shit, I see how these guys scale out. What they basically do is they take one part. Let's say that step number 4 is developing pages, right? And you go, well, the first thing we need to do is come up with a killer headline. You go, great. All right, we can do a podcast episode on how to write an absolutely killer headline that gets people to stick around after an advert or whatever. And it's free, so it doesn't cost anything. Okay, down here. And then as we move along this process from content to products, recurring revenue, and then services going this way, you're increasing the length of time the customer has known you, that relationship, that value that you bring to just them. This is all the free stuff that they can do. And we just pick out pieces from these individual processes. And what I love about this model, by the way, is that you write your content plan following your process. So it means that every single piece of content you produce, you know that it's bolstering this overall process. Because when someone comes to you and they say, oh, you know, we're struggling with sales, we're struggling with leads, we're just not getting people through the door. What we're looking for is lead generation on automation, more sales, and again, whatever that conversation looks like from problem to end result. You go, oh, we've actually got a framework for this. We call it APAR. Again, come up with something better, right? Killer. We have a killer framework, okay? Crushing the audit, interview, that fits. Email, what could be L for email? Leveraging email, pages, landing pages, E for advert, advertising, advertorials, and then R for report, right? So we have a killer framework. And they go, what's that? And you basically, the first thing you do is K, you need to KPIs. This is actually not bad. Killer could work. So you have KPIs first, interview, landing pages, and then leveraging email. And then adverts could be editorials, you could call that. So we have the killer framework. We start with your KPIs. You then move through to interviews, landing pages, leveraging email, landing pages, editorials, and then reporting. And if you get those 6 things lined up, they're like, oh shit, that's pretty good. You go, oh yeah, well, we've got like blog posts, videos, some resources, some lead magnets, some free stuff that you can have. If you've got, Matt, you reminded me of this one. Only a maniac will write 10,000 words or something on 20,000 words on something, unless they're an expert. Only 2 types of people have that much time and attention to spend on one specific topic. A maniac, like a mental crazy person, or an expert. And again, you go into further detail on this book. By the way, if you want to learn how to do this, the book way, the book method, this Thursday coming up, I have got I don't know if I've got the link knocking around somewhere. I've got a book workshop coming up. Here it is. There we go. sellyourservice.co.uk/your first book. This was not a sales pitch video, by the way, but that's on this Thursday coming up about 5 p.m. UK. Got 2 workshops. It's actually one workshop split over two days, 2 weeks, where I'm going to talk through this process specifically for writing a book, because I believe the book gives you all of the information for the future. I believe the book basically gives you everything you could possibly need to massively increase your authority, create a killer lead magnet, and as well a product, and build recurring revenue in services and software and stuff. Thank you, Matt. There we go. Why not both? What? Why not both? Yeah. Well, if you are a crazy person who knows what they're talking about, more the merrier, right? All the better. Good one. Cool. Right. Here's what comes up next. Products. Products are basically things that your customers can buy and you can increase consumption. So what that means is I could sell, let's say that I have a landing page template and I go, yeah, I just want to sell that. And I have a list of the top most common KPIs, and I sell that for $27, and I sell my landing page template for $147, and maybe the book is kind of considered part of that at $9.99 or whatever. Okay. By the way, 5-figure funnels, paperback, coming soon, and the audiobook. We've got all the audiobooks coming out for all of the stuffs. When it rains, it pours, folks. These are packaged and you don't have to touch them. So you want to create a sales page, maybe a sales letter as well, maybe a video promoting it. You'll have a blog, a podcast talking about it, and your lead magnet will want to talk about it as well. So, okay, you've downloaded our email template. If you're serious about increasing sales, if you're serious about generating new sales, removing and getting clarity on your business, right? Getting confident about your business and changing the fact that you've got no leads. Bearing in mind, notice how the problems and the results are writing the sales copy. They're writing the sales copy. As bizarre as this sounds, these are benefits. If you lack clarity but want clarity and confidence on the business, I've got something that can help you. That's a benefit, right? So if you want to generate leads on automation, generate more sales, maybe you want some more time and you're currently lacking clarity, and if you're serious about affecting your business, you've just downloaded our email template as our lead magnet. We've actually got a $147 landing page template that you can use. Let me remove this. Super, super, super simple stuff. And it means you can sell an infinite number of these, right? Because you're not involved in the process at all. This is just sold on automation. And like I said, maybe you've got the most common KPIs. It's just a list, just a little PDF list. Don't overthink it. And you got the book as well. And to sell these, like I said, you want to have a podcast talking about it. You want to have a sales page for it, maybe a few testimonials, maybe a promotional video or an educational video, just talking about this product that you've got already. You've got the templates. If you've got the process, you've got the content, which also means you've got the product. Okay. And then this is how we move on to those next kind of later stages. Your services, if anyone's ever unconfident, so we've also got we've got other things here like core, kind of, I guess, software as well. I'll talk a bit about that. Your marketing funnel projects, services, marketing services, whatever. Let's say that they range in 10 to 25K for like a core offer. Over here, it's far easier to sell this stuff to people who have already bought this, bizarrely. And you are more likely to sell this to a brand new person if they know that you've got other products to back it up. Can't tell you why. Well, there's a few reasons why, but that's just the nature of how this stuff works. If people come approach you and they say, hey, we're thinking about, doing some marketing, we're thinking about working through with you, or maybe we want to work from sales and our lack of clarity and move over to these end results. You go, great, got a 25K package. We currently have all of this product suite here, our product menagerie, as I call it, ton of content to back up our authority. Great. That sounds like a more authentic, legitimate deal because you have this stuff going on. And then you can dot around these other products. Your recurring revenue will probably be a mixture of the final few stages, ads and reporting. Just naturally, it tends to work out that the final kind of 2 or 3 stages in your process tend to suit a recurring revenue model as well. So that's going to come up here. And your core offer, by the way, does not have to be this 10 to 25K product. If you still think, well, I just want to sell 10 $25,000 projects, great. Leon says it shows depth and knowledge. 100%. Yeah, and Matt, the joy of trust. Yeah, again, it's, if you walked into a supermarket, has anyone ever done that, by the way? Walked into a supermarket and they've only got a few things on the shelves? It's really eerie. It's really disconcerting. It's like walking onto a car lot. And again, they've tested this. I certainly know this when hiring cars. The fact that you had more products on show made the customer feel more secure. They made them feel more safe. Bizarrely, it's this kind of effect like that where if everything ends up getting sold, you end up making fewer sales. Not just because of they physically have got less stuff, or if you can't get the stock in, you have fewer sales. There's a balance, obviously, because you don't want to have too much inventory, but having a product menagerie or range of options actually makes this one more appealing, makes all of them more appealing. And then that's as we increase in value. I've kind of put this in the wrong place, but it kind of goes like this, right? So you got your recurring revenue. So your core offer, the only thing I want you to think about with your core offer is, does it have, I don't care what it costs, you basically want to have a £1,000 or $1,000, £1,000 if you're in the UK, profit margin. That's the most important sector. If this is a £5,000 product, £1,000 of it needs to be pure profit. And it might be that an online course, learning materials, educational materials, stuff like this actually is kind of more profit than that. Great. That could be your core offer. And then the done for you service is the 25K. Here's what is really, this is what really upsets me and infuriates me. So many agencies are stuck insisting that they can only sell the marketing service, right? That is the current agency model, and it's worked for a long time, but it is dying and it will kill your business. Every other business on the planet that is successful and has adapted understands that their success will be derived from their ability to leverage and scale the process that they have already. It's also why people feel more confident when shopping too. Yeah, not just products if there's popular shop. Absolutely, man. It's like walking into the Walking Dead or something. Empty shops are like the Walking Dead. Yeah. So the traditional old school, outdated, massively outdated agency model is to have one product. And I'm just going to choose 10K as an example, right? We do websites, but we also do a ton of other stuff based around that website. We'll do custom builds, we'll do e-commerce, we'll do email marketing for you, we'll do all these other products and services, but it's based off the product way from the customer. It's not based around the process, it's based around the product or the service. 100% the agency graveyard is going to overflow in the next few years. This is why, right? This is the equivalent that the age we're in now, and I'm going to get into conspiracy mode theory right now. Conspiracy theory mode, right? When electric motors first came into factories, as in, after the Industrial Revolution, but before the digital revolution, people were in factories and they had human beings working on stuff, right? Moving stuff, moving shuttles up and down, making looms for fucking duvets or whatever, I don't know. And someone said, well, actually, we can create an individual motor for the whole factory. That was the first thing they did. Is basically they bring in a huge motor, huge engine. And a lot of factories went, why the hell would I want that? It's noisy and it's a huge upfront investment, 50 grand or whatever it was at the time. The ones who were smart took those huge engines, put them right in the middle. So you basically had, here's your entrance, you had your conveyor belts moving around like this. And the original method was you had an individual person sat here moving them around, right? And they said, actually, we're going to change this and we're going to put a huge engine right in the middle. And what that's going to do is that's going to power this one, and this one. And you can cut this workforce down to one person per conveyor belt just for quality control. And eventually one person for the entire factory or the entire production role. That is the model that current agencies use, is they spring everything off the centralized motor. Someone fucking smart came along and said, actually, I can make this slightly better for you and more effective. How about I give you more floor space and you can double the number of machines you have because I'm going to give you an individual motor per conveyor belt. All right, takes up way less space. You can now have one person directly in the center. If one engine breaks down, doesn't matter because these will all still work. And that was a really common problem. They have these huge, if anyone's ever been to an old school factory and you see this huge box in the center, they used to break down all the time. And now they say, no, we've got individual motors. This is what we call agency 2.0, right? This is basically saying, I'm going to have my content. The process is still the same. The way you manufacture results is still exactly the same. There hasn't been a massive change in the way that we manufacture stuff for, I don't know, 100 years. The reality is cameras, relatively speaking, are pretty much exactly the same as they were when they were invented. You have a lens, you have a plate. Yeah, is it digital or chemical plate? Doesn't really matter, right? The process of building them. Speakers, almost identical. Cars, almost identical. Yes, there have been big changes in battery and locomotion and the way that that works. But ultimately, technically speaking, stuff still has to get made. It's the exact same. The process is pretty much identical. And this is why the strategy is so important, because so many businesses are refusing to accept that the floor plan for the factory has changed. But you don't have to invest in anything. When I see people start to invest in Facebook ads, that is a tactic. That is the equivalent of buying more engines without really understanding what the layout of the floor is going to be. You know what the layout of your floor is going to be. The process is going to be the same. It's probably going to stay the same for a long, long time. Even if you say, well, in 10 years' time, it won't be Facebook ads, it'll be something else. Yeah, fine. It's still advertising, though, isn't it? So coming up with those individual tasks for your process, and again, you can do this at a really high level. It doesn't have to be quick. By the way, again, just pitch, baby. If you want to learn how to really understand all of this, I highly suggest coming onto the workshop. It's going to be live, so it's going to be a workshop style. We're going to do 2 hours on Thursday and then 2 hours next Thursday. Not only going to have the plan to write your book and actually be able to write the book, I'm also going to go through this part here because that's going to help you scale out the rest of this process. And you say, okay, well, we're going to take our top performing ads and create some content around it. We're going to take our top performing emails and create some content around it. We're going to take our top audit. We're going to get our top interview questions. This becomes our blog posts here. We're also going to do a long form blog post and a book. And then as we slowly begin to move out, we're going to start building products based around the stuff we've already got. We already have an email template. Some of you guys have an email automation process already built inside things like ActiveCampaign that you could just create the link for and just start selling it. There's a product. Your products, however, at this level, and you can have, $10,000 products. It actually doesn't, or £10,000 products. It doesn't really matter what the numerical figure is, but you can have products that are not designed to make you profit. What they're essentially designed to do is to pay for the acquisition of leads. Let's say your recurring revenue, will flip this. A couple of people say that they've got a Facebook group. And what you do is you help businesses who need to generate new sales, right? They've got no new sales. They're currently rinsing their current market, right? They lack clarity and they've got no leads. And you say, well, we're going to put together a Facebook group for them. I think it's just the F now, isn't it? Good old Facey B. We're going to create a Facebook group for them. We're going to create 5 documents for them that basically outline the process. And they can get access to this for $197 a month. They get access to a private community. They get access to these documents. They pay per month. You absolutely do not have to stick to creating products and services. You can have communities, you can have groups, you can have coaching programs. The overall process for this, by the way, is you have ideas As I said right at the start, you don't scale products or businesses, you scale ideas. This is the idea, and it becomes infinitely scalable through all of these systems. That then turns into intellectual property. So you might have these email sequences. Inside that might be its own mini process. This here is intellectual property. You might have an audit framework that has a model, like I've got the product customer matrix that tells people where they should work and where they should spend their money. So this is where you find profit. This is launch, acquisition, and graveyard. And I can take people through that. That's intellectual property. Your agency's got all this stuff already. Intellectual property then turns into media. Media is your content, it's your products, it's your worksheets, it's the stuff that people buy and consume. It's the things that increases trust, it's the things that increases sales, it's what people buy, it's what people watch, it's what people read. And then you have technology. If you can write a blog post on something, you can create a piece of software around it, basically. Some of it can be even done with just gravity forms. Because it's having the process first that matters. But so many businesses will insist, especially agencies, will insist on sticking with services for the sake of it, rather than thinking, what's my process? Now let's start to fill out these here. And we go, great, yeah, if you want us to do all of this for you, that's not a problem. That's absolutely fine. It's 25 grand. It's a 6-month program. We require 10K up front, which leaves you with a balance of 15,000. And then you can pay 1,000 a month for the year over 12 months, and then a final closing debit of whatever that is, 3 grand. And that's your service, and problem solved, done, right? No worries, because it's going to be nice and profitable for you. You know what you're going to be doing. Plus, you've got all the resources. Working backwards, how can we generate recurring revenue? Well, what if we just did an ad audit? What if we just did ads for people? Didn't even create them, just had a look at their things and just gave them feedback. It doesn't have to be Facebook as well, just a private forum. You just say, post your ads in here, we'll review them. Or landing pages or leveraged emails or whatever. By the way, if you want us to do your emails, just your emails, not a problem. That's a core product. It's 4 grand or 5 grand. We'll provide you with a list of 20 email templates after asking you a series of questions, and then you can have those emails and use them for the rest of your life. Oh, you want to do it yourself? You don't have 5 grand? Not a problem. We have a £497 training program which teaches you how to write the 5 most important email campaigns. And again, you're just teaching them what was in this and then what was in this. And right now, okay, well, they probably want to learn. You go, these are the 5 types of campaigns you need to have in your business. We're even giving away one of these templates for free. That's our lead magnet. And it's all based around solving these problems, whatever these problems would be. Right. Thank you so much, guys. Let's start wrapping this up now. If people have got questions, by the way, throw them in the chat. You can either put them in the comments on Facebook. Unless you've already allowed StreamYard to see your name, I won't be able to see your name, so it might be anonymous. Or you can put it on Facebook if you have any questions about this. Here's what I want you to do. I would like you to write out 100 problems that your customers face. If you've never done this exercise, it's fascinating. It's also really difficult, but it is well worth taking 100 bullet points and saying, what's the number one problem my customers face? They don't have any sales. Great. What else? They don't have enough leads. Great. What else? They don't really have enough time. Cool. What else? And by about problem 20, you'll start to struggle. And then about problem 70, you'll start to get into it because you're like, well, they don't get to spend enough time with their kids. They're certainly not working out as much as they used to because they're working so hard. They hate hiring people. And you're going to list out 100 different problems. And you're going to go through that and go, actually, those are all pretty similar. Those are all pretty similar. Those are all pretty similar. And those are all pretty similar. Okay, so actually their core problem is sales clarity or consistent sales. Their problems, yeah, they don't have enough leads, but actually they're not doing anything with those leads. So they have what they call lead deficit, which is basically, and I see a lot of businesses, by the way, this is a huge opportunity for anyone wondering. If you approach your customers and say, hey, do you regularly generate leads? They go, yeah. You go, do you generate a sale from them in under 90 days, before 90 days? I go, I don't know. Well, the fact that you don't know means you probably don't. And the fact that you don't generate a sale from them within 90 days means that you're lowering your conversion rate. And the fact that you're not generating a sale and increasing your conversion rate with them means that you're missing out on opportunity. It means you're probably not marketing to them soon enough. That's a huge problem, by the way, lead deficit. And another problem is actually maybe they have lots of content. I know so many businesses with tons of content who can't turn it into leads and sales. They have audience, but they're not able. They have audience like this. That's a funnel. It's the first one we've drawn on the whole fucking board. They have loads of audience, but they don't have any. They haven't built any leads or monetization or trust. Is Miles Beckler does it, isn't it? ATM. Splintering is a good way to fill your funnel. 100% agree, man. I'd love to see what you've got, Deepak. I'd love to see some of your products. You keep getting better and better. Thank you. Cheers, buddy. I'm trying. I'm going to run out at some point. All the books that I'm ripping off, at some point, I'm going to run out. People's brains aren't exploding yet. As they watch this, they need to shake them a little bit more. Thank you very much, Matt. Massively appreciate it. Well, I'm going to be sticking around in the comments on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you have watched this and you have questions, just shoot me a message in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. Like I said, guys, your agency is already in the best position possible. Don't change a goddamn thing, because, and believe me, the messaging that's going to come out in the next 6 to 18 months is you need to change what you're selling. You need to change what you're doing, and you don't. The message will constantly be, you need to change the mountain that you're climbing, and you do not. You already know enough. You already have problems that you can solve. So I want you to figure out what those 100 problems are, start clumping them together, and just do this piece. What are the 3 problems that you can solve? That's the core thing that I want you to focus on, because the more specific the problem you can solve, the more content and products you've got. And then when you continue that service and strengthen that service, that's when you work on recurring revenue and services. Awesome. The name of the book, Deepak, thank you so much for asking. 5-Figure Funnels. We have got the paperback coming out real soon. I had to check through because I wanted to make sure that pictures and stuff were like, in black and white and printed nicely and stuff. But yeah, looks like this will be the paperback version and audio version coming soon as well. When it rains, it pours. Thank you so much, guys. Massively appreciate you sticking with me for this. I'm going to go have a barbecue because the weather here is sick. I have also got a very special video coming out today, probably about 6 o'clock UK time, where I'm going to take a bit of the piss out of bro marketing. It's another dumb video that we spent way too much time over, and but we really enjoyed it. So cool. All right. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Have courage, commit, and take action.